Hey guys, in this video I'm going to take you through a game. It's one that I played this morning, 15-minute rapid against a player rated just under 1100. And what I want you to focus on particularly is at the start. During the opening section of the game, which is when you aim to get all your minor pieces into the board, you want to get your queen off the back rank, you want to castle your king, you want to connect your rooks, right? So that's your objective in the opening. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to follow, as I play with the white pieces, my opponent's playing with the black pieces. For each move, is that move progressing each player towards the point of having completed development, or is it a tangent, a distraction, a wasted move, right? And then we're going to see what impact that has on the rest of the game. And I'm talking about openings a lot at the moment because it really is critical. A lot of beginners are simply too careless with opening moves, right? So things we want to look out for: you don't want to move a developed piece again unless you have a very good reason to do so. You don't want to make too many pawn moves, right? You need to make 2 pawn moves only in order to be able to release your bishops. One that starts on a dark square, one that starts on a light square. Okay, let's go through the game. So I start with e4 and we have e5. Perfect first move, right? We control some of the center, and likewise black is controlling these two. The bishop can come out, the queen can come out. There's nothing not to like about that move. So I now play knight to c3, the Vienna game, and my opponent plays c6. Bam, bam, right? This is a pawn move. So he's already made 2 pawn moves, which is the minimum number of pawn moves that you have to make. However, this one, although it potentially would allow the queen out into the board, but the queen could already get into the board thanks to black's first move, it does nothing to help this bishop, which is still penned in, right? So to me, that's a bit of a waste of a pawn move. It also takes away the knight's natural square on c6. So move 2, not good. Bishop to c4 now, eyeing up f7. I've also moved one of my 2 minor pieces on the king side, so looking forward to castling the king soon. And now queen to e7. Bam, bam, right? You don't want to move your queen too early in the game. It becomes a target, creates a target for your opponent to start developing with tempo, attacking your queen, making your queen move again. So 3 moves in, black still has all his minor pieces on the back rank. Now knight to f3, okay? So now I've developed 3 minor pieces and I'm ready to castle the king. What does black do? A pawn move, right? b5. So the point of this pawn move is what? It's attacking my bishop, but it's not attacking it with any real threat because my bishop can go just back to b3. And now we are on move 5. Black has played 4 moves and still has all 4 minor pieces on the back rank. Now another pawn move, d6, bam, bam, right? So what's this doing? It's blocking off this diagonal from the queen and blocking the same diagonal off for this bishop, right? Yes, it's potentially allowing this bishop out into the board, so that's something. But now we are 5 moves in and we still have all 4 pieces on the back rank, minor pieces. I now play d3, which is shoring up my my pawn chain there, and potentially allowing my dark square bishop to come into the action. g5 looks like a good square, hitting this vulnerable queen. And now bishop comes out. So what do I do now? Do I castle? Do I develop? Okay, so now I castle. And we have an exchange of pieces. So on the last move, black finally, on move 6, develops a minor piece. Okay, I've got 3 in the board, black's only got 1, right? And then I castle. And then black proceeds to exchange off his minor piece that he's just invested 1 move in developing. Okay, so look, that bishop has 1 move, 2 moves. Okay, And when I recapture with the a-pawn, black's development is gone. It's disappeared. Nowhere to be seen. So now I still have 2 minor pieces out on the board, and black goes back to 0. So what's his development? A pile of pawns in the middle, and the queen is off the back rank. But the queen is now blocking in the bishop's got nowhere to go. Right, so how long is it going to take black to complete development? In fact, will black ever get to complete development? Tune in to find out. Okay, now bishop to e3, that's my last minor piece into the action. And now another pawn move. Right. Now, yes, it could allow the bishop into the board, but look at this. Where's the king going to get safe now? After the g-pawn and the f-pawn have both been pushed. So I now lift my queen off d1, off the back rank. Just move it to d2, backing up my bishop. And now my rooks are connected. So I've technically completed development, and I've done it in 10 moves. I had to use a couple of extra moves because of black's attacks against my bishop. So I had my bishop here. I needed to move my bishop back, and then he swapped it off and I needed to recapture. So I've used 2 moves with that bishop, the light square bishop. But now I have completed development on move 10. Black, however, still has 1, 2, 3, and castles. It's still 4 moves off completing development. And why does that matter? Well, watch. Well, black now just simply makes a blunder. This is a complete unforced error. Moved his bishop to a square where it's defended 1 time and attacked twice. So I grab the bishop. He decides to capture with his knight and loses his knight. So now the king can't even castle on this side because it would have to pass through check, and that's not allowed. So the rook comes across. I drop my queen back to e3, which the computer said was inaccurate. It's the only inaccuracy apparently in the game. I think it wanted me to play d4 at this point. And another pawn push. And now I bring my knights around. Now I decide to break through in the middle because the king's still in the middle. And we swap off some pawns. Queen goes to there. Thank you very much. I'm happy to swap off. Right, so that's another error, I would say. When you're down in material and black is down a full knight at this point, you don't want to be swapping off pieces. Okay, and now I push up with an f4 break. Black had options here. I mean, had options of capturing with the e-pawn or capturing with a g-pawn en passant. That might have been the better move, which I would have recaptured with the rook. But anyway, he retires the rook. We swap off, and he seems to be happy now swapping off his material, getting to an endgame as quickly as he can. But everything's just dropping now. And the reason it's dropping, my king is safe. My pieces are active, they're out in the board, right? Look, my rook has already made his way up to the 4th rank. Okay, I have 2 active knights. This rook hasn't moved so far in the game. And the reason is because black has been playing catch-up. He's been on the back foot right from the start because of unnecessary and silly moves. Okay, so now we have, I drop a pawn there, but come in with check, and we're just swapping off. And my king is now very comfortable. It has a few more pawns around it. It's getting into the center of the board. Everything's kind of covered and safe. We have nothing to worry about. And then we finish with a blunder from black. So there you go. I really, really recommend that you do exactly this process. Go over some of your previous games and say, did this move? So you want to be looking at the first 10 to 15 moves, right? Or until development is complete. How long is it taking you to complete development? And look at each move and say, did that move have a purpose? Did it carry me towards my goal of completing development? All my minor pieces out into the board, king castled, rooks connected, queen off the back rank, okay? So I cannot stress it enough. This is just one way in which beginner players, I mean, this guy's rated nearly 1100, so you know he knows how to play chess, but to get onto that next level, you really need to pay attention and play your moves with extreme economy, right? Every move has to have a purpose, particularly in the opening, Because if you fall behind on development, you fall behind on control of the board, you fall behind on options, you fall behind on being able to start an attack or think about pawn breaks or any of that stuff until you've completed development and got all your pieces involved. You're just going to be behind. It's as simple as that. And if your opponent does a better job, then they will be able to think about starting their campaign against you 2, 3, maybe more moves earlier. And that could simply spell disaster. So that's my recommendation. Go through a few of your recent games and just see that each move from the start, does this help my goal of getting everything developed or not? And see what you can learn, and see what you can remember and carry forward into future games. All right, that's it. Okay, so thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. Other than that, I'll see you soon.